Ever feel like you're stuck in the slow lane when it comes to blockchain? Yeah, transactions taking forever, fees sky high.
Ugh, tell me about it.
Well, get ready to switch gears because today we're diving into Sei,
Say?
a platform that's claiming the fast lane
Oh, really?
and maybe even the whole highway for itself.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
You've been digging into Sei. What's the big idea? What problem are they trying to solve?
So Say is calling itself the first parallelized EVM. That's Ethereum virtual machine, in case, you're new to blockchain lingo. Essentially, it's a new approach to blockchain technology, and it aims to be the best of both worlds, combining the speed of Solana with the huge developer community of Ethereum.
Okay, I'm hearing speed a lot, so can we break that down? How much faster are we talking and why does it matter?
Think of it like this. Most blockchains are like single-lane highways, right?
Yeah.
Everything has to bottleneck into one lane, which slows things down. Say wants to build a superhighway with multiple lanes, allowing transactions to zip through at lightning speed. We're talking potentially thousands of transactions per second compared to Ethereum's current rate of around 15.
Wow, that's a pretty significant difference. So what's the impact of that kind of speed?
Well, it's a game changer for things like decentralized finance, gaming, anything that needs near instantaneous transactions. It also opens up possibilities for entirely new types of applications that just weren't feasible before.
So Say is tackling this problem of scalability head on, but how are they actually doing it? What's the secret sauce?
Well, a big part of it is this parallelization they keep talking about.
Oh.
It's a bit technical, but basically it means they've designed their blockchain architecture to process multiple transactions simultaneously instead of one after another.
So it's like having multiple checkout lines at the grocery store instead of everyone queuing up in one giant line.
Exactly. It's all about maximizing efficiency and throughput.
Okay. And you mentioned Say is combining the speed with the power of Ethereum's developer community. How are they managing that?
They're using something called the CosmWasm framework, which allows developers to build on Say using a wider range of programming languages.
Interesting.
This is different from Ethereum, which primarily uses its own specific language, Solidity. By opening the doors to a more diverse set of developers, Say is hoping to attract a wider range of projects and applications to their platform.
So it's like they're building this super fast highway and then saying, hey, everyone, come build on top of it. We've got all the tools and resources you need, no matter what language you speak.
That's a great way to put it.
Now, I'm curious about the under the hood stuff.
Okay.
What makes Say tick? I see a lot of buzzwords like Tendermint Core. What does that even mean?
So Tendermint Core is the engine under Say's hood. It's their consensus mechanism. Think of it as the way Say ensures all the computers on its network agree on which transactions are valid.
And how is that different from how other blockchains do it?
Well, it's a different approach from Ethereum, and it's designed for both speed and security. Tendermint Core has this reputation for being very robust and efficient. It's been battle-tested in other blockchains like Cosmos Hub and Binance Chain, and it's considered one of the leading consensus mechanisms in the industry.
So they're not exactly reinventing the wheel here. They're taking something that's already proven to be effective and incorporating it into their own platform.
Exactly. And that can be a smart strategy, especially in a space as complex as blockchain. Why reinvent the wheel when you can borrow the best parts and build upon them?
Right, it's all about innovation and iteration. Okay, so we've got this super fast blockchain, a thriving developer community, a robust consensus mechanism. What's next? What are some of the cool things being built on Say? Where can we actually see this speed in action?
Well, one thing that immediately jumps out is the decentralized exchange, or DEX, that's being built on Say. This is where users can trade cryptocurrencies directly with each other without needing a centralized intermediary.
And how is Say's speed an advantage there?
Imagine a DX that can handle thousands of trades per second with near-instant confirmation times.
I-
That's the kind of potential Say is aiming for. Compare that to some existing DX where you might be waiting minutes, even hours, for a trade to go through. It's a night and day difference.
That sounds like a dream come true for traders. What else is popping up in this Say neighborhood?
We've also got a bridge to Ethereum listed here.
Okay.
Bridges are essential because they allow assets to move between different blockchains.
So it's like building a tunnel between two different blockchain worlds, allowing them to interact.
Exactly. And that's huge, especially with Ethereum being such a dominant player. You want to make it easy for people to bring their assets over to the Say ecosystem and start using them in these new high-speed applications.
Makes sense. So we're seeing this ecosystem start to come together. But before we get too deep into all the exciting possibilities, let's take a step back and look at the potential downsides. With all this talk about speed, are there any trade-offs? Does Sei compromise on security at all?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And the short answer is, they're aiming not to. But of course, no system is foolproof, and only time will tell how Sei's technology holds up in the real world.
That's a great point. Security is an ongoing process, always evolving. It's like a constant game of cat and mouse.
Right.
Okay, so we've got speed, we've got security, we've got a growing ecosystem. This is starting to sound like a blockchain utopia.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's not all sunshine and rainbows, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the potential challenges or roadblocks that Sei might face?
Well, one challenge is simply getting people to switch over. Ethereum has a massive first-mover advantage, and it's deeply entrenched in the blockchain world. Convincing developers and users to migrate to a new platform is never easy, even if it offers significant advantages.
It's like trying to convince everyone to switch over to a new operating system, even if it's objectively better, there's always going to be resistance to change.
Exactly. People are creatures of habit, and there's a certain comfort level with what's familiar.
So how does Sei overcome that inertia? How do they convince people to take the leap?
It's a combination of factors: building a strong community, providing excellent developer tools and documentation, and, most importantly, demonstrating real-world use cases. They need to show that Sei isn't just a theoretical concept. It's a platform that can actually solve real problems and create tangible value.
So it's not enough to just be faster. They need to be better in a way that matters to developers and users.
Absolutely. They need to make a compelling case for why Sei is the future of blockchain.
This is fascinating stuff. I'm already starting to see the potential here. Okay, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's bring it back to our listener. Let's say someone is hearing about Sei for the first time today. What's the key takeaway for them? Why should they care about this?
I think the key takeaway is that Sei is tackling some of the biggest challenges in the blockchain space specifically: scalability and speed.
And they're doing it in a way that's both innovative and grounded in proven technology.
Exactly. They're not just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. They have a clear vision and a solid roadmap for achieving their goals.
That's reassuring to hear.
That's
Okay,
fair.
so let's say our listener is intrigued. They want to learn more about Sei.
Great.
Where should they go? What are some good resources for them to check out?
Well, the documentation you shared is a great starting point.
Yeah.
It's surprisingly accessible even for those who aren't blockchain experts. Plus, Sei has a very active community online. You can find them on forums, social media, all the usual places.
It's like being a fly on the wall in the early days of a potentially groundbreaking technology. That's exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And that's part of what makes the blockchain space so dynamic. It's constantly evolving, and there's always something new to learn. If you're looking for the next big thing, Sei is definitely worth keeping an eye on.
I couldn't agree more. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but I feel like we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore with Sei, their technology, their ecosystem, their vision for the future.
Definitely. We could talk about this for hours.
Oh, believe me, I'm tempted, but we'll save some of that for another time. For now, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll delve deeper into Sei's approach to governance and how they're empowering their community. Stay tuned.
You know, it's funny. We often get caught up in the tech, the speed, the scalability. But a blockchain is more than just lines of code. It's a community, a living, breathing ecosystem.
It's a digital society in many ways.
Exactly. And every society needs rules, a way to govern itself. So before the break, we were talking about Sei's unique approach to governance.
And specifically their model of on-chain governance.
Right. Now, for those who aren't familiar with the term, can you explain what on-chain governance means and why it matters? Absolutely. Imagine a traditional company. Decisions are made by a board of directors behind closed doors. On-chain governance flips that model on its head. It brings decision-making onto the blockchain, making it transparent and accessible to everyone.
So it's like having a public forum where anyone can see what's being proposed, how people are voting, and the outcome of those votes.
Precisely. And in Sei's case, it means that token holders, the people invested in the platform, have a direct say in its future.
That's a powerful concept, but how does it actually work in practice? Let's say I'm holding some Sei tokens. What can I actually vote on?
Oh, the possibilities are pretty vast. Everything from technical upgrades to fee structures, even which new assets get listed on Sei's decentralized exchange.
Wait, really? The community gets to decide which tokens get listed on the exchange. That's a big deal.
It is. and it speaks to the level of control that Sei is handing over to its users.
So how does the voting process work? Do I need a PhD in blockchain to participate?
Not at all. Sei's made it surprisingly user-friendly. You connect your wallet, stake your Sei tokens, which basically means committing them for a period of time, and then you get voting power proportional to your stake.
So the more you believe in say and its future, the more say you have in its direction.
Exactly. It incentivizes people to be active participants in the ecosystem.
I love that. It's like a real democracy where your voice is heard in proportion to your commitment.
That's a great analogy. And it's a refreshing change from traditional models of governance, where often only a select few have any real influence.
It's exciting to think about the potential here. A blockchain platform that's truly governed by its users, transparently and fairly.
And that's ultimately what Sei is all about, empowering the community and building a more decentralized future.
Okay, so we've talked about what on-chain governance is and how it works on Sei, but let's bring it back to our listener. Why should they care about any of this?
That's a great question. And I think there are a few key reasons why governance matters, especially in the world of blockchain. First, it ensures that the platform evolves in a way that benefits the majority of users, not just a select few.
Right.
Second, it helps to prevent any single party, whether it's the developers, a corporation, or even a government, from having too much control over the platform. It keeps things decentralized. And finally, it fosters a sense of community and shared ownership. When you have a say in how something is run, you're more likely to feel invested in its success.
Those are all incredibly important points, especially in an industry that's often criticized for being opaque and exclusive.
Absolutely. Sei's commitment to on-chain governance is a breath of fresh air and sets a positive precedent for the future of blockchain.
Okay, so we've covered governance, but there's another aspect of Sei that I'm really curious about. Their ecosystem. You mentioned earlier that they have a decentralized exchange, or DX, where users can trade cryptocurrencies directly with each other.
We did, and it's one of the most exciting developments in the Sei ecosystem.
Can you tell us more about it? What makes Sei's DX stand out from the crowd?
Well, for starters, it's built on top of Sei's incredibly fast and scalable blockchain.
Okay.
That means faster transaction speeds, lower fees, and a smoother user experience overall.
That's always a good thing, especially in the world of decentralized exchanges where speed and efficiency can make a big difference.
Absolutely. But beyond the technical specs, what's really interesting about Sei's DX is its commitment to community ownership and governance.
Okay, so we're seeing that theme of decentralization popping up again.
Exactly. Sei's DX is designed to be owned and operated by its users. That means that the community has a say in everything from which tokens are listed to how fees are structured.
So it's like a true peer-to-peer exchange where the users have all the power.
Precisely. And that's a very powerful concept.
It certainly is. Now, I understand that Sei's DX is still relatively new.
It is, but it's already gaining traction.
That's fantastic. Are there any other projects or developments within the Sei ecosystem that you're particularly excited about?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot happening in the Sei world right now. One project that caught my eye is a cross-chain bridge that's being built between Sei and Ethereum.
Now, bridges are essential for connecting different blockchains, right?
Exactly. Think of it like building a bridge between two islands. Without a bridge, you'd be stuck on one island and unable to access the resources and opportunities on the other.
That's a great way to put it. So this bridge will allow users to easily move assets between Ethereum and Sei.
Precisely. And that's a big deal because it opens up a world of possibilities.
For example.
Well, let's say you're an Ethereum user who's interested in trying out Sei's DX. With this bridge, you could easily move your Ethereum-based assets over to Sei and start trading without any hassle.
That's incredibly convenient, and it also highlights the importance of interoperability in the blockchain space.
Absolutely. As more and more blockchains emerge, it's becoming increasingly important to have ways to connect them and allow for seamless interaction.
So bridges like this one are essential for fostering innovation and collaboration across the entire blockchain ecosystem.
Precisely. They're breaking down the walls between different blockchains and creating a more interconnected and vibrant ecosystem.
You know, it's funny how things come full circle. We started this deep dive talking about Sei's speed, this almost unbelievable transaction rate. And now, after exploring their governance, their approach to security, even their stance on regulation, it strikes me that speed is just one piece of the puzzle.
It's the flashy sports car.
Yeah.
But you need a solid engine, good tires, and a skilled driver to really make it sing.
Exactly. And what I'm hearing is that Sei gets that. They're not just focused on being the fastest.
Right.
They want to build a platform that's fast, A&D secure, decentralized, A&D user-friendly.
They're aiming for that sweet spot, the holy grail of blockchain, you could say.
So let's bring this home for our listener. We've thrown a lot of information their way about Sei, the good, the potential challenges, the whole shebang. If they had to remember just one thing from this deep dive, what would you want it to be?
That, say, represents a shift in how we think about blockchain. It's not just about moving money around faster. It's about building a more equitable, transparent, and participatory digital future. And that's something worth paying attention to, even if you're just starting to dip your toes into the world of crypto.
Beautifully put. It's not just about the tech, it's about the potential impact.
Precisely. And that potential impact is huge.
Couldn't agree more. Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into the world of Sei.
It's been a pleasure joining you on this journey.
The pleasure was all ours. And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed this episode and learned something new about the exciting world of blockchain technology.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep your minds open to the possibilities.